This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to a Performance Gears review and comparison on the Nike BB NXT. If you're just joining us here for the first time, thank you. Please consider subscribing, and after the video, if you like it, give it a thumbs up and share it. And as the title goes, if you are a fan of running or just a runner, or if you've heard of the name Hoka, this is the Hoka Clifton. This is one of the cushiest, most plush running shoes you can get. It's great for recovery days, slower days, and actually a lot of people use it just for everyday training. In fact, even if you have a job that you stand around all day or you do a lot of walking at your job, this is a fantastic option. Well, we now have a basketball version. Now I'm going to do a full review with obviously fit and support, and I want to review it to a few other shoes that I have, but mostly it's going to be a review with a little bit of comparison. Behind me, you're going to see the Lebron 17, which we're going to compare it to, which is similar in price, as well as having a lot of cushion and being very plush, as well as kind of hidden back here, another shoe that I liken it to, but it was hard to get for a lot of people, and that's the Jordan Elevation Supreme. Now we do have the successor to this, the Elevation React, which is out in the market, and that replaces the heel zoom with a heel React cushion. So actually very similar in the newer version. This is just the king of the hill as far as having way too much cushion, probably for most people, but all in all, a shoe I really enjoyed. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. All right, starting with the fit, this is one of the few shoes I was able to get on order day, which I received membership access from Nike. I was able to get it slightly early, a 12 and a 12 and a half. Shout out to YouTube channel, The Hoop Shoe Review. Go check him out. I'll put a link in the description and actually put a link to his video, hopefully if I can put it up here. I was actually able to get his size 12, which he hooked me up, and then I was able to get a 12 and a half directly from Nike, so I was able to compare those. So he actually did his review in these, so these were kind of broken in already, and this was a 12. I had the 12 and a half come in, and honestly, even as a wide footer, we're talking about fit here, this is using kind of a knit or a woven material. So not knit, but it's a woven upper, so it actually molds really well. You're gonna see some of the clips here, how my foot definitely starts to press down and come out of it here if you have a wide midfoot. Plenty of room in the toe box as far as that. So I would say possibly go true to size. I went up that half size for a 12 and a half, and I felt the midfoot was a little bit better. The toe box was just fine. I don't really think I needed too much of that, But what happens is the 12.5, as you began to play and then it did break in, even though I could torque the laces down more and it would feel better, when you actually started to play hard jab steps and you're playing quicker, you're doing a hard cut, the support was definitely lacking. So I would say, even if you have a wide foot, go with your true size on this and give it time to break in. This material is more of a woven cloth, so it's gonna break in for you and you're gonna be just fine. It does have a traditional tongue, so you're gonna be okay if you have a high instep. Has lots of plush cushioning around the ankle collar, so this feels really nice. The one area that I really didn't like, and I wore multiple different socks, I'm gonna have a whole other video on this, the lace pressure. Tying it down and getting the right amount of pressure on here at times would hurt me and at times would be perfect. There's plenty of cushion up top here, which is weird. And if you work your way down, there's cushion down here. But right here where you would actually torque it down, there's not much cushion. The laces don't seem that, I don't know, strenuous, but when you torque it down, there's definitely some uncomfortable lace pressure depending on the width of your foot, the height of your foot, which is your instep, or the girth. You may have some lace pressure there, so if you have that, this is just something you're gonna have to play around with the laces and get it just right. Now, compared to the LeBron 17 for sizing, I actually was able to go with my true size 12 on the LeBron 17, but only after I was able to put in a reduced thin insole. So I don't know if you guys can see that. I have an incredibly thin insole here from one of my Brooks running shoes, where the insole pretty much provides no additional cushion. But these are so cushioned, it really didn't need it. For the regular insole, and I do have another pair that's a 12.5, they fit much better, and I think the cushion's actually better going to that 12.5. I do have a video on that. But fit wise, you are able to go true to size on both of these. This, depending how wide your foot is, going up half size or getting that reduced insole is what you're going to need to do in order to get these to fit properly on the 17. Overall, fit wise, I would say it's really close, and that's what's really weird about it, because this has a knit upper, obviously your knit posit. This has your kind of your woven upper, which is still pretty high quality. For $180, it feels really nice. Honestly, they both mold to your feet. This is just going to be a little bit stronger, and we'll see that when we come to the support. All right, so working our way down to support, that's where this starts to struggle a little bit, and that's not to say it's bad. Showing you a video here compared to the Supreme or the Elevation Supreme. The Jordan Elevation Supreme was one of the worst supportive shoes I have ever worn, and actually I like it only because it really makes you feel like you have some trampolines under your feet and you're just playing barefoot. There's not a lot of traction, there's not a lot of support. Your foot rolls really naturally, so you have to really work on your footwork. You can't overstep in any way. This is a huge step up compared to that. Now, in the same cushion, if you're comparing it to the LeBron 17, it's definitely a step back. Just that lateral containment, the knit posit on this does a much better job. But obviously you have the traction that's going to hold up, and the traction on this, we'll get to that, is actually pretty good. But this material will hold you in to a point, and you just start to feel a lot of the pressure there. Now, I felt the same kind of pressure on the LeBron 16 low, where that shoe, the grip just stuck so nasty, and you would put a lot of pressure. I just had pain all alongside his foot in LeBron 16 lows, just because it was such a stiff fit. Now, this moves with you a little bit better. I didn't quite have that pain, but I had nothing really holding my foot in. It was just my foot trying to stay on the footbed. Now, it does have a strong enough heel cup where it does pull you in. I never really felt like my foot was gonna just roll over or had a tipping point like in the Greek Freak 2s, so it was more gradual. You kind of felt it, but at the same time, if you're making hard jabs, hard steps, this is something that's gonna kind of sink in. It's going to slow you down, and you're probably not gonna feel it unless you're going either full speed or depending how fast you are. So if you're a quick player, if you're a fast, powerful player, you're going to notice how this is kind of keeping you from your full speed. If you're a player that you're just a big, you're getting rebounds, you're running up and down the court, or you're just going on fast breaks, you know, you're standing in the corner, you have some footwork down low on the block, this is still really good for a lot of players. So I don't want to take it as if everybody is Steph Curry and Kyrie with crossovers and handles and everyone's trying to just break down their man. If you're just a shooter, you're going to love this. If you play on the block, you're going to love this. Support is good, but it's not great. It does have a nice flat base. It is wide and stable enough where you still feel confident in playing in it. I never felt like, man, my foot's going to go like I did in the Freak 2s and maybe a couple other shoes, but I also knew the limitations. I knew this is not something where you're going to be able to go 100% in and just know the shoes right there. You feel high off the court. You feel like you have something that's stable underneath, and you feel really locked in. But that amount of cushioning, there is a trade-off. So I wanted to clarify that, where a lot of people are like, man, that shoe has terrible cushion. If you look in the NBA right now, I don't think anybody is wearing these. I think this is going to make a great training partner to another pair of shoes you may have in your bag already, or to use this in different training methods. Now to the meat and potatoes of it, the cushion. This is using, as many other reviewers have said, a full-length React setup that's almost a triple layer React. On top of it, the insole is React, and you're able to use this on a variety of other shoes. Case in point, if you guys saw my other videos, the PG4 is an awesome complement to use with this. The plushness on this is like no other shoe on the market. This is something that can replace, say, your slides. If you wear slides to the court and off the court, kind of let your feet relax, this can replace it. If you're wearing just some running shoes like this to the court where you want something nice and cushy, this can replace it. If you know you're not going full speed in your practice session where you're just getting up shots, you know, you had a leg day, this cushion is phenomenal. And actually the zoom air on this, and you can see kind of the pods with that circular pattern there, the zoom feels bouncier on here than it does on this. And whether that's because the zoom bags are bigger, whether the React works better with the zoom bags, you have a little bit more bounce, but overall it just comes across as a soft, plush ride that is really comfortable. The LeBron 17, because of the way this cutout is and how it's rounded, it actually has a little bit of a push-off effect. Now, it's very slight and it happens only at one point, but essentially if you land hard, you have that nice cush line of the heel. The air, I don't know if it's helping that much, but you're giving a little bit softer landing. It's pushing you off, and you have that little bit of bounce, a little bit of pushback. It's not like the Jordan 34 or probably the 35 coming out, but this is actually pushing you to run a little bit harder, as well as giving you a nice plush landing. This is just taking it down a notch in speed and up a notch in cushion, where you have a really soft landing, definitely slowing you down. You have a nice bouncy push off, but it's not pushing you off. It's just a bounce to it. So it feels a little bit more natural as well. This is something I definitely enjoyed playing with. And this is almost going to be probably my go-to, like, hey, I'm wearing this to the courts and then I'll change into something. Or you were leaving the court, you have one last game, you know, I'm putting these on to leave. Well, okay, let me jump back in. I can play another game of 32 or something like that. So the cushion is absolutely amazing as long as you know what you're looking for, or if you're looking for this kind of setup, it's something I can easily recommend. Going to the traction, this is something I thought was going to be phenomenal. It actually is fairly firm. You can see here it has kind of that old school Kobe 9 kind of mapped pattern, you know, heat mapped. And on a clean court, which I hate saying that because almost any shoe on a clean court is going to stick. It bites really hard. Like, there's a hard bite to it, but for whatever reason, the rubber compound they're using on this, and again, I always say, whenever you have a clear translucent outsole, I think some of the gum rubber ones or solid outsole ones are probably going to do better, but this rubber compound did stick quite a bit to the minimal dust that's on the court. Now remember, guys, I'm training on my own for a few hours on a court where there's almost no one on that court. So this is not something where there's a lot of dust to begin with. So if the traction is not doing amazing, I'm hesitant to call this very good. Now on the same court, this clear traction setup was biting super hard. Like, they both bit hard. I just had a lot more confidence in this because I had the materials holding my foot in on any kind of spin move, jab step. They both were good, But when I got to a little bit dusty parts, this actually would just move it out of the way. It did great. But even when I played this on a regular court, when I was able to beforehand, before a lot of the shutdowns, it was just okay. Now, again, I don't know if you guys can tell on the back of it here, there is some fraying already, and I've worn these outdoor once. So even though this is going to be a very durable cushion for a season, if you're wearing this on court, if you're wearing these outdoors, at least in the US, in the standard, not in the extra durable rubber, or not in the GC or Greater China release areas, this rubber is not as durable as you would like, especially for a $180 shoe. If we're looking at something like the Lebrons, this rubber is quite a bit harder, and actually I would recommend over that. But overall, it was really enjoyable, and it's not something I would say is a negative on the shoe either. If you like that video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below, and I'll try to hit that. Or if you want to compare it to any other shoe, I do have a few other reviews coming out with the Kawhi, with a multitude of the Chinese brands coming out with shoes from Anta, Peak, and Li Ning. So I'll have those reviews hopefully coming out in the next few weeks. I am trying to get the LeBron 18, the Zoom Rise 2, as well as the Jordan 35 when those come out. So if you guys have any connections, or if you want to shoot me maybe a deal you're able to get, I'm happy to try to get those and get those reviews out as soon as I can. If you guys haven't checked out some of our running shoes, our Running Gears channel, if you're looking to run more and you're just starting to, hopefully I can help out. As always, guys, if you appreciate the channel, I will put a link to our Patreon below, so click on that, as well as any of the links below do help the channel. They're affiliate links, so you'll get the same price for yourself. I try to put the best deals in there, but you do help out the channel. As always, guys, girls, I really appreciate you. This is Levi, and I'll come at you later.